Hey guys, how are you? So I know like a lot of you guys have been wondering like what I'm doing in India, especially Vicky, Erica, Jojo, Maggie. I know you guys have been wondering like what I'm doing, how I am, and when I'm coming back to New York. So I just wanted to let you guys know, and all my other friends know exactly what I'm doing here in India and why I've been here for a longer time than expected. So basically, um, I came to India to do this program. It's called Inner Awakening, and this program is so crazy cool. It's like it was life changing actually. So I found out about Inner Awakening like a year ago, since like a year ago since like June, July. And I found out about it because I was on Facebook and I saw this link to a YouTube video. And the YouTube video was Girl with Super Cool Powers Third Eye. And I clicked on that link and I saw this girl, her name was Yoga Mata, and she was actually talking about having her third eye open. And I don't know if you guys know this, but I really wanted my third eye open even before I saw that video. And so, like 3 years before, 3 years before I saw that video of Yoga Mata, I would every morning and every night, I would always do like mantra on my third eye. So it was from the Bhagavad Gita, and so I'll tell you that mantra. It was Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Samsayam Mahabaho Manaduni Graham Kalam Abhyasena Tukonteya Pragyana Chagriyate. So I would do it like 3 times every morning and 3 times every night because I just wanted to get my third eye open. And the reason I wanted it open is because I don't know, I just wanted to feel like connected to the cosmos basically. So, and when I saw that she had her third eye open, I was like, wow, blown away. I didn't even know there was superpowers associated with the third eye. I just wanted it open to feel that connection, to feel that oneness with the universe. So anyway, so I clicked on the link, and she was demonstrating one of her powers, which was reading blindfolded. So they blindfolded her and she could actually read words, newspaper articles, anything you wrote, and then she could also pick out objects, see what color they were, by being blindfolded. And it was the coolest thing ever. And I've heard people have spontaneous third eye opening, but for her this wasn't the case. So what happened with her, so this is how I found out about my guru, Paramahamsa Nityananda, aka Swamiji. And so basically I saw him for 2 seconds in Yoga Mata's video, and I was so interested. I was okay, I need to know how to get my third eye open. I followed the link to innerawakening.org, and that's where I found out more about Swamiji. He's a guru in India, and what he does is that he initiates into third eye awakening, full brain activation, Kundalini awakening, and what was so cool about it is that you didn't have to wait years and years and years to have your third eye open, they did, the usual way. That was the usual way. You would have to do certain spiritual practices for years just to open it maybe. So all he had to do was basically just touch your forehead with his thumb, and bada bing bada boom, your third eye is open, you know what I mean? So I was like it was so cool. But the thing was I looked at 1 or 2 videos about it, and I just it was always in the back of my mind, but for a year I just forgot about it. I didn't think about it. Thought about it maybe once in a while, but I just didn't think it was the time for me to do it. So I just I was just oh okay, and I just forgot about it for a year, until this lady, this random lady from India just called me up all of a sudden a year later, and she asked me, hey, we're having a 2-day program, why don't you come check it out? So, I mean, I didn't know what this program was going to be about, and it wasn't like I did like a lot of research. Like when I saw Yoga Mata's video, like I looked at the Inner Awakening website, and then I just saw like 1 or 2 videos of Swamiji, and then that was it. So I wasn't sure if I wanted to go to the program, because like, I just didn't know what to expect. And so I was like, I'm not too sure. And also it was like really late at night. It was like from 10:30 until 3 a.m. And also it was like $50. So I was like, do I really want to spend $50 on something that I really don't know about? But I promised this lady that I would go check it out. So I called up the Brooklyn Center, and I was like, talking to the coordinator in Brooklyn, and she asked me if I was ever at a program with Swamiji's, and I was like, no, this is gonna be my first time going to a program. And she's like, oh cool, because we have a voucher for you. So I was like, cool, voucher, yay, free. So I was like, you know what, why not, let's go. So I went to the 2-day program. It was called the Law of Action, and I went there. And so basically I went there, I did I did the workshop, and it was so crazy because Inner Awakening from that program was 2 weeks, like from then. And I just made like a snap decision. I didn't even know what I was thinking. It was just like I just decided to go to Inner Awakening like 2 weeks. Like I made this decision like 2 weeks before Inner Awakening happened. So basically I went from not wanting to spend $50 to spending like 10 grand for Inner Awakening. So I went, so I made a snap decision. I got all the funds, and got my plane ticket, did everything, and then went to Inner Awakening. And oh my goodness, I'm just so happy that I went, because it was like one of the coolest experiences that I've ever had. They were like, okay, for example, the first time I saw Swamiji, it was really elaborate. The curtains open, he was in this super cool outfit with a trident. It was really cool. And then he was doing some hand movements on stage, and I was thinking why is he doing those hand movements? I don't know what he was doing, but he was doing something with his hands. But by the second time that he came on stage, so the second day, he came on stage again, and he did another set of hand movements. And I remember this specifically because this time I felt this immense energy come into my body. So basically what he did was he did this, and then when he did that, I just felt this ball of energy come into my body, and it was it was crazy. Actually, I wasn't expecting that. And so what throughout the process, so let me tell you about the process. Inner Awakening, not only did he open our third eye, not only did he open our Kundalini Shakti and activated our full brain, but he also taught us about completion. So what completion is that anything that irritates you, anything that annoys you, anything that makes you frustrated, angry, sad, anything that makes you feel a sense of powerlessness, what you have to do is you have to look within yourself. You have to basically go to the very first time that very first moment that you felt this powerlessness, and you basically have to relive and relieve. So you relive that moment, let's say it happened when you were 5. So you have to go back when you were 5, not remembering it, but basically living it out as if you were 5 again, 5 times, and relieving it 5 times. So you relive it, and then you relieve it, and then he actually helps you complete. So the cloth that I'm actually wearing is like a completion cloth. It's called a gabi, and what it does, it helps you complete. And so and it was the craziest thing because like I didn't feel like, okay, we used to be in like a mandala, so we used to sit in a circle, or we used to sit in like a triangle area, like a street chakra area. And and after we like sat in a circle or the street chakra, what we had was a shivoham process where Swami G would use sound or silence so that he could help us do the completion process or unclutch. So what happened was after I did my completions, after I wrote down all the moments in my life that made me feel powerless or made me feel like, angry, irritated, sad, mad, like anything. After I wrote all those down, after I relived them, after I relieved them, and after for the first time, I actually felt the energy when I was in the mandala, and it was actually really surprising because like I just felt like this energy in my back, and it was like making me like levitate. It was like making me jump, and it wasn't me trying to jump. It was just that there was this like very strong energy that was making me jump, 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 jump. And it wasn't only like jumping. Like the first time I felt it, like it was during a homa. So like a homa is like a fire ritual to invoke the gods. And I was just sitting in the chair, and then I felt like this little wiggle. So I was just like, I wonder why I'm going side to side. So I was going like this, but very, very like more subtle. Like it was very subtle that I was doing this. But then when I did the shivoham process and I sat in the mandala, and I was just like, it wasn't subtle anymore. It was going like my Kundalini Shakti. It was making my body go like this, and it like in circles like this. So it was so cool because I actually felt the energy and I was like levitating. So basically it meant that completion was happening, because when completion happens, it means that you awaken a power, and like levitation or your Kundalini Shakti going up, it meant that it was a power. So that happened, and then afterwards, after the 3 weeks, I was going to come back to New York. However, it's a really funny story, but so after 3 weeks, I learned all about completion. I learned all about how to basically feel powerful, not give in to powerlessness, and all these cool things that Swamiji was talking about, because every day he would talk to us about different topics, and he would just give us the coolest talks ever. And I highly suggest that you actually look at his YouTube channel, because it's amazing. He talks about different topics, and it's so helpful actually. So after 3 weeks, I was actually supposed to come back to New York, and the thing was I was looking forward to it. I was like, yay, 3 weeks in India, can't wait to go back home, New York City. But something happened. So there was actually this one sannyasi. So sannyasi is a monk. So she actually a couple of days before the program ended, 3-4 days before the program ended, she pulled me aside and she was like, Soma, you're a true seeker. You should come to the ashram, for a couple of months for this 3-month program. So when I first went to Inner Awakening, the first day that I came, I didn't understand. That was the first time that I heard the term seeker. I didn't know what a seeker was. I was wondering what is seeking, and they said that I was a seeker, so I was like, what am I seeking? I didn't even consider myself a seeker. I'm just I don't understand this terminology, like what is a seeker, what am I seeking, and like if I am I really a seeker, like, you know. And it wasn't until later on that I found out what a seeker truly is. So a seeker is someone who wants to find the highest truth. And I realized that, you know, I was always asking questions since, you know, since when I was really, really young, like even like 7, 8 years old. I remember I was reading this book about Krishna. So he's like one of the gods in Hinduism. And I was reading this story about Krishna, and he actually stole all the clothes of the gopis, who were cowherd girls, and basically he just stole all their clothing while they were bathing, and he was just like up in a tree, like with their clothes, like, oh, you know, na 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 na, here, why don't you come get your clothes, you know. And I was just thinking, like, that is the meanest thing anyone could do. Like obviously they're bathing, and like, you know, why would he steal their clothes and then, like, you know, like tease them to come out of the river to get their clothes. Like I think I was 7 or 8 when I read this story, and I just had like, I asked everybody, I was like, excuse me, why did Krishna steal all their clothing, and why was he, like, you know, telling them, like teasing them about to, like, you know, to get their clothes? And I asked everyone, and everyone that I spoke to, they were like, oh, Soma, he did that because he's God. I just looked at them like, are you serious? Who cares if he's God? Like, that, he shouldn't, like, do that. He shouldn't do something like that. And like, nobody could answer my question, and I was 7 or 8 years old at the time, and I swear to you, so I'm 25 now. I think it was, okay, 18, 19, 22, 23, 24, 25. So 17 years later. Okay, 17 years later, I asked Swamiji the same question, because we had like Q&A with him, and I asked him, like, oh, excuse me, like, why did he steal the clothing of the gopi girls? And then, so he actually had the answer for me, and he told me, he was like, okay, so the gopis, they were actually really, like, they were very complete people. They were very complete girls, except like there was just one incompletion in them, and that was the incompletion of shyness. So when Krishna stole their clothing, when he was 7 or 8 himself, when he stole their clothing, like, they, like, you know, when they got up to get their clothing, only, like, he stole, like, there was about 200 gopi girls, and only 7 of them got up to get their clothing, and because they got up to get their clothing, they broke that pattern of shyness, and they got enlightened, like, at that very moment. And I was just like taken aback, because like after 17 years, so like he finally answered my question, and it was just like, wow, like, you know, like, he didn't say, oh, you know, it was because he was God. No, he actually gave like a legitimate reason why Krishna did that, and I was like, okay, cool, like, now I know. So I was seeking something, and I was a seeker, but I didn't realize what seeking was. And seeking was like, you know, you always want to know the truth. You always want to know, like, you know, why, what, to me anyway, why this happened, why that happened, like, you know, and just to get the context of everything. And what was really funny was, like, afterwards, right, in my mind, I was like talking to Krishna. I was like, homeboy, you know, I had to ask. And so, you know, we're cool now. I mean, we were always cool, but like now I know why he did what he did, so like, we're even more cool, you know what I mean? So so like, after I found out like what a seeker was, like, way later. But my Anatma, she was telling me, like, to come to the ashram, and I just looked at her like she was crazy, because I didn't think of myself as an ashram person, you know. When I thought of ashram person, I just thought of like someone, like, people super religious, like, not fun people, basically, like, you know, very like strict religious people is what I thought of when I thought of ashram people. And I, you know, like, it was, and like, also, like, to me, like, my Anatma was like the biggest cheerleader. So like, to me, it was like she was gonna tell everyone, like, no, you come to the ashram, you come to the ashram, you come to the ashram, you come to, like, you know. So to me, she, like, it seemed like she was telling everybody to come to the ashram. So I'm just like, thank you, but no thank you, my Anatma. So and it was really funny because when I actually went up to talk to her about it, she looked at me and she smiled and she's like, "Oh, you're coming up to me because you want to come to the ashram." And I'm like looking at her and I'm like, "No, Maya, not Ma, I'm not coming to the ashram." So so basically, I was, like it was the day before my flight to New York City, and I was like, getting ready to go back to New York. When like that very day, my friend Eva comes up to me. Like Eva and I did Inner Awakening together. She actually did Inner Awakening 4 years ago, but she wanted, she came to Varanasi to do Inner Awakening again. So, so she came up to me because right after third eye meditation, and she looked at me and she's like, "Soma, I don't know if I should tell you this, but I'm going to because I had a strong intuition about you and I know I have to tell you." So I was like, "Okay, what happened?" I was like, I was curious. And she's like, "Okay," she's like, "I don't know how to say this, but I'm just gonna say it." And she told me that she had this very strong intuition through her third eye that I had to come to the ashram for that 3-month program, and that it would make me powerful. She was like, "You have to go to the ashram, the sooner the better." So I was just taken aback because Eva wouldn't tell me something like this for no reason. She she wasn't part of the ashram. She wasn't a monk or anything. She wasn't a sannyasi. So her coming up to me and telling me this, it was completely out of the ordinary. And also I realized that because she was getting this through her third eye, it was actually coming from the divine. It was coming from the cosmos. So I was like, oh God, if the cosmos, wants me to be in that ashram, then I better go through that ashram, even though I didn't feel like I belonged at an ashram at all. So what happened was I actually booked my ticket to Bangalore Adinam, which is Swami's home actually, and I booked my ticket there the very day that my flight to New York was. So I basically left my flight alone and I came to Bangalore. And I came because I was like, this is something from from the divine. So I have to go. I have to listen. And so I basically had 5 pairs of clothing. So 3 white clothings because in Inner Awakening you have to wear white, and 2 black outfits because during yoga we did we had to wear black. So black and white. However, all my Inner Awakening friends, they were so nice. They gave me toiletries. They gave me their clothing. They gave me chargers. They gave me everything that I needed to come to the Adinam, to Bangalore Adinam. And Adinam is basically a word for community. So I was like, okay, so I came to, and that's how I came to the ashram. So, and it was completely crazy. It was because it wasn't something logical. I wouldn't logically do something like this, but I just did it. I had no idea what 3-month program I was supposed to be in. I had 0 expectations because seriously I wasn't even expecting to be staying in India for 3 more months, you know what I mean? I wasn't expecting anything. I was just, okay, I'm gonna go here for 3 weeks to India, and then I'm gonna go back home to NYC. So basically I just came without any expectations, without knowing anything, knowing how everything was gonna pan out. I basically had no clue about anything when I came to the ashram. So it was just I was if something happened, I was open to it because really I was not expecting anything. And so that's how I came to the ashram. And then I'll actually tell you more about it in my next video about how I came to the ashram, what happened the first week and stuff like that. So I'll tell that to you in my second video. So stay tuned, okay?